And by the indulgence of the Senate, I move the motion. The urgent need to halt the erosion of democracy, the dissolution of elected councils in Benue State. The Senate notes with dismay the dissolution of democratically elected councils in Benue State. The Senate also notes that in placing caretaker committees to replace elected councils is an aberration and alien to the 1999 Constitution as amended of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Aware that Section 7.1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended guarantees a system of local government by democratically elected councils. Also aware that it is the constitutional responsibility of every state to ensure the existence of local government councils led by duly elected leadership by the people, and this is sacrosanct. Accordingly, the Senate resolves: 1. Condemn the arbitrary dissolution of democratically elected local government councils in Benue State. 2. Urge the governor of Benue State to adhere to his oath of office, to obey the rule of law, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 3. Review the dissolution of elected councils and constitution of caretaker committees and reinstate the elected councils. And finally, urge the federal government to withhold statutory allocations to local government councils that are not democratically elected. I so submit, Mr. President.
President, thank you. I rise to second this motion, this very, very important motion brought by the minority leader on the issue of the emasculation of the local government system in Nigeria. I so second, Mr. President, and if you permit me, I want to contribute in the debate.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this issue is a matter that has continued to undermine the local government administration in Nigeria. As the mover of this motion pointed out, Section 7 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees that there shall be democratically elected local governments in the Federation of Nigeria. Guarantee, that is to say that all local governments shall be run with democratically elected officials. The mover of the motion also pointed out that the elected officials take oath of office, including the governor of Benue State, and all of us in this chamber. We are all sworn in to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is therefore sad, Mr. President, that this terrible emasculation of the local government system in Nigeria, which has given birth to mismanagement of the resources available to the local governments by some of the governors, because some governors conduct local government elections, I must admit. But many people have continued to disobey the Constitution by tragically removing democratically elected local government officials and replace them with a caretaker. There's nothing like caretaker in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. The governors of some states have continued to do this and take over the funds given to the local governments from the Federation account, and they manage this money through the appointment of somebody they call Chairman Joint Account Committee. The caretaker committees are just there as mere appointees of the governor. And they don't question the governor on how the funds gotten from the federation account, how the funds are applied, because they are at the mercy of the governor. If you ask them, they say that the House of Assembly approves the list of these caretaker committee members. There's nothing like that allowed for in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where the House of Assembly will approve the appointment of local government chairman and appointment of people they call councillors. These people are not councillors. You know, the Constitution recognizes councillors. Caretaker does not exist in the Constitution. So if this Parliament, if this Senate or the National Assembly does not protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there is no other organ that can lawfully do so. So I support this motion in terms of the prayers that may be subject to amendment when we get there. But the critical thing is that the National Assembly and the Senate must put a stop to this flagrant breach of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are lawmakers, and if we make laws that are not obeyed, it means that we don't have democracy again. This is the time the Senate will come out very hard on this matter, because I know that over the years, some of these matters have gone up to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and the Supreme Court has emphatically pronounced that caretaker committees are illegal, and the governors have no power to dissolve elected government officials, except as allowed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I so support and call on our colleagues for us to come out very strong on this matter and see if we can end it for the last time in this country. Let governors of some states who are in this habit know that the Constitution does not permit them to do so. And if there is a wrong, there must be a remedy. If people do this type of thing, there must be sanction. So I support and call our colleagues to support this with every amount of vehemence. Thank you, Mr. President.
I really appreciate. You know, the governor even running his state with caretaker throughout. And after 8 years, he runs for the presidency of the country, so that he will also run the states of the federation with caretaker. So I've had that experience, and that governor will go around. That former governor will go around looking for Nigerian votes. When in 8 years, all he did, of course, it has to be from the opposition, not from APC. So in 8 years, all he did was to run his local governments with caretaker. On conclusion of his tenure, he then runs for Nigerian presidency. So at all the states of the federation, he will run the states of the federation with caretaker. Governor Oshumole, you are aware that this cannot happen. This cannot happen in a normal situation. But please say something.
I represent the oppressed people of Nigeria and the people of Edo North. Mr. President, sir, I want to thank you for your comments.
Sorry, the same Senator Oshumole, did they elect Eric or Alia? Was it Adams, Alia Oshumole, or Eric Alia Oshumole? Which one?
And I believe the truth has no political affiliation. I stand here to support in total the spirit and the letter of the motion that was ably moved by our distinguished Senator Abamoro and seconded by the man with the tallest cap, my very dear friend, whose governor from Abga was dissolved their local government as well. If it is wrong, it is wrong.
Yes.
I have immunity on this floor in this house, particularly when I'm saying the truth. Sir, I think it is clear the Supreme Court of the land, beside the express provision of the Constitution, we can be accused of being lawmakers but not judges. But the highest court of the land has pronounced time and time again that governors do not have power either to dissolve an elected council, nor do they have power to appropriate and spend money in the name of a local government. Local government caretaker committee is not being elected, just like you said. Each time we turn the other way, we inflict huge damage to the fabric of our democracy. I thought I should stand up because I am not in PDP. But it's not about partisanship. If it is wrong, it is wrong. I was a governor, I was elected, and I met a caretaker in place. Even though it was clear that these caretakers were rigged into office, but since it was regularized by the courts, we accept to live with it until we can improve the system. So I have had to live with an elected council chairman who were from another political party until their tenure was exhausted. I resisted all pressure from my party leaders to dissolve them, because if one can dissolve the other, we too can be dissolved. We all have a shared responsibility to defend the core principles and values of democracy. Governors are executive, but those elected people also have executive chairmen. They also have executive powers within the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. So I think it is time that this Senate lend its voice and forcefully persuade the Minister of Finance that wherever there is no elected council chairman, that money due to those councils should not be released to an arm of government that does not exist. When we do that, that will be a great armor against governors with those dictatorial tendencies. It doesn't matter which party they come from, this Senate must stand for democracy regardless of party affiliation. I so submit, sir.
The Senate here can do a little, especially when it comes to issues on motion. If we do a motion here, whatever prayers we adopt are more of advisory. It has no teeth. The best thing under this circumstance, as he rightly said, is a breach of the Constitution. When there is a constitutional breach, the appropriate place to go is court. I will suggest that my distinguished colleagues, my distinguished colleague, take this up with the appropriate court. So that, but what we do here will only amount to advice. That is the truth. We must accept that that is the truth. Most of the governors, as it is now, I think about 16 state government is run caretaker right now, which is illegal, unconstitutional. But they get away with it. Even the governors here that we have here, I hardly think of anyone that did not have caretaker in place, which they know is illegal. Adam said he met one and he allowed it to go on. I don't know whether you had an uncommon one by not having a caretaker. But most of the colleagues here who are governors are guilty of that too. So the best thing, is to condemn such action because it's undemocratic. But in order to give it more strength, is to approach the court. Once the court declares that such action is illegal, then we have solved the problem. Unless we have to amend the Constitution again further. But the Constitution is already clear that there is no provision for caretaker in the Constitution. It's a strange thing in the Constitution. Yet the governors go ahead to caretaker.
Yeah, when you release money to them, it's legal.
So, therefore, as you said. But then, what we now do is, if we agree that the Ministry of Finance should not release the money to them, I think that's the only option that we have here as a National Assembly, since we have constitutional oversight responsibility over the so in the prayers maybe we should emphasize that anybody that has caretaker put in place, his money should be kept aside until democratically elected local government takes over. I think that will help solve the problem.
Well, it's not even something
motion. I just believe that the first thing we should do is when we come to the amendment of the Electoral Act, we should be able to amend the aspect that gives the governor power to be doing a local government election. We should try and strive to take that election back to INEC. That again will strengthen the democracy. Mr. President, I was once a local government commissioner. When you are able to take it there, automatically you have already tied their hand. There is nothing they can do because they know that this is a national election. It's not a kangaroo election where the governor will just sit down with 2 or 3 people and then write the results. Already, that's one of the reasons why probably when money is sent to them, there's nothing they can do. It's the governor that will dictate, that will determine the project you will do. But if INEC takes over, now it will help the democracy, and then democracy will be institutionalized and will be able to move forward instead of here and there, like the Senator Ndube said, 17 to 18 states now are running local government, and then there is this idea that I must win all local government election even if I'm KKK party. The moment you do it, Mr. President, how do you justify a senator, a rep member coming from an opposition but different from the party, and the governor will not do election, the senator will not win his local government? It's so even his word, it's so funny. So we need to take it serious, because from the prayer, one thing is very vital. We can advise the Minister of Finance to hold on to the money, but the main issue where it can work is for us to amend that Electoral Act and make sure that INEC, the one that is conducting it. Thank you very much.
well, distinguished colleagues, and that is Benue State. And what worries me most is that Benue State currently is under the APC. Under the APC. And these things we used to hear in the opposition parties like APGA, PDP and others. So if these things are creeping into the APC, then we must put a stop to it immediately. You know, so now you asked me a question when I was a governor. I had 2 local government elections when I was a governor. 2. I did 2 local government elections, and some of the, well, of course, you know, none of them was less than 3 years, and then some of the even the opposition then, ANPP, won in one of my local governments, and there was another local government that another political party won. So I'm saying that even when I was in the wrong party, I did not follow what they were doing because I knew it was wrong. So let us not listen to the deceiving Senator Ningi. Like Senator Oshimole said, what is wrong is wrong. Was it Eric or Oshimole? Which of them? Eric, like Senator Eric said from Edo State, what is wrong is wrong. No, I mean Aliu. So let's go into the prayers. Now, there's another approach which I think we can actually adopt, and that approach will be an amendment, or even I don't like creating more agencies and commissions, but if we have something like National Electoral Commission for local governments, and then the local government elections council or chairmanship are organized nationally, even if you don't use INEC, you just have a body, just like you have what they call, like in states, they have State Electoral Commission. If you have a national local government electoral commission that organizes local government elections nationally, you will see that all sorts of local governments will tumble, all sorts of councillors will tumble. So this bandwagon effect of a state governor will come to an end. So we must think in that direction as a National Assembly. We must look at that, the possibility of setting up that kind of national body that will organize local government elections from councillor to chairmanship. When you do that, there is no way somebody will come in as a governor and then come down to say, I'm annulling this. You can't, unless you go to court as a governor. You will not do that. You cannot say, okay, I'm setting this aside and setting that aside. So I don't think it's something we should debate for long, because we have a lot to do today. So let's just go straight into the prayers. But I want to thank the minority leader, the Civil Senator Abamoro, for bringing this to the fore. And then even if it is being practiced in other states, I think we have to bring this to an end. And at the same time, we have the Legislative Compliance Committee that will look into the final resolution that we make here today. So prayer 1. Condemn the arbitrary dissolution of democratically elected local government councils in Benue State. Those who are in support of prayer 1 say aye. Amendment? Senator Ome.
I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I suggest an amendment to this prayer 1, that instead of Benue State, we'll say in Nigeria, because this is a national malaise. Condemn the arbitrary dissolution of democratically elected local government councils in Nigeria. Benue State in particular. Benue and other states. Is it not the same thing with Nigeria? Okay, Benue State. Okay, don't worry, I'll rephrase it. I move to amend this prayer 1 to read, condemn the arbitrary dissolution of democratically elected local government councils in Benue State and other states in Nigeria. Yes. I so move.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 has been amended to read, condemn the arbitrary dissolution of democratically elected local government councils in Benue State and other states of the Federation. Those who are in support of this amended prayer say aye. Aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the governor of Benue State and any other state to adhere to his let's read what is here. Urge the governor of Benue State to adhere to his oath of office, to obey the rule of law, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those who are in support of prayer 2 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Review his dissolution of the elected councils and constitution of caretaker committees and to reinstate the area elected local government councils. In other words, prayer 3 is saying urge the governor of Benue State to reinstate the area elected local governments forthwith. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. No, prayer 3 say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to withhold statutory allocations to the local government councils that are not democratically elected across the nation. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So once again, I just want to thank the Civil Senator Abamoro for bringing this to the fore, and thank my distinguished colleagues for their contributions, and say that it is not yet over until we can have further discussions on this, and then bring up legislative procedures to bring the practice to an end. Leader of the Senate.